Hey YouTube, James from the Wyvern Watcher, and welcome to another deck profile. This is a fresh one to the channel. This is deck number 60 for me. A bit of a special one. It's taken me a while to get these cards together. I did a deck building deck building video a few weeks ago now, but at that point I wasn't sure when the support was coming. Turns out the support was literally around the corner. So instead of doing the profile then and there, I thought, right, well, we may as well just hang out and wait for the support. And sure enough, it's arrived now, and I've integrated it into my deck. For those that are looking for the sort of hard-hitting meta build, this is probably not the video for you. I've tried to keep it sort of as Akiza-ish, Akiza-esque, shall we say. In that I thought these are cards that she would play, but there's no hand traps in here. This, like I say, if you've seen my videos before, it's not for me. It's not about the hand traps. There are some in my decks, but only when I see them as suitable for the deck, or indeed it's something that I take to locals on a regular basis. But this one isn't that. It's supposed to be funsies. It's supposed to get all the sort of synchro plays going, get those really nice card artworks on the field, and enjoying it, really. That's the sort of the bottom line to it. But having said that, this is the first time I've profiled it, so I'm going to go through in a little bit of detail as to my choices. But let's get cracking straight on with it, shall we? So we'll come to the extra deck slightly later on, of course. But, of course, what we've got first of all is Red Rose Dragon. So, obviously off the ban list now. I think it was limited for a good reason, but apparently it doesn't matter now. So, these are, of course, the Starlight Rares out of the Mega Packs this year, as I've got a few of those actually in the deck. I absolutely love the Starlight Rare, I have to say. I think they've probably made it a little bit too common in my opinion. I thought it was more special that, the super rare it was. When I say super rare, you mean when they're actually rare as opposed to just being called super rare. But yes, this dragon, I've going through all the dragons first, by the way, guys. So this is the Red Rose Dragon. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can special summon one Rose Dragon monster from your hand or deck, which is super, of course. And then if this card was sent for the synchro, if this was sent for the synchro summon of a Black Rose Dragon specifically, or a plant synchro monster, you can also add one Frozen Rose or one Blooming of the Darkest Rose from your deck to your hand, which is absolutely great. We're going to play both in this deck, because obviously the chances are you are synchro summoning for either a Black Rose Dragon or indeed a plant synchro monster, as there are many in the deck. So that's Red Rose Dragon. Really good starter. I have seen Zephyr's build actually. They were running it at 3, but I can understand. Running it at 2. I can understand him running it at 2 though, because he is sort of running the hand traps of choice, which I'm not, of course. So I just thought I'd max on the dragons and get, you obviously see them as often as possible. White Rose Dragon. So when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard, except White Rose Dragon. And you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If you control a Dragon Tuner or Plant Tuner, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can add one level 4 or higher plant monster from your deck to the graveyard. From the deck, yeah, that's right. Send one higher plant monster from your deck to the graveyard. That's right. So yeah, again, a nice little option there. Again, in the Starlight Rare. Like I say, I do like the Starlight Rare. I think it's nicer than the Quarter Century, in my opinion. Some people might argue for that, I suppose, but that's what it's all about. It's about having a bit of an opinion on what your favourite rarities are. Rox Rose Dragon is a bit of a must at 3, I think. We've not gone for Blue Rose Dragon on this occasion. It's just probably not strong enough. Also, I'm sure it does fit in the theme, but it just doesn't look like it does. So I was okay to take that out completely. So if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one card that mentions Black Rose Dragon from your deck to your hand. And then when this card is in your hand, in your graveyard, if a face-up Rose Dragon monster or a plant synchro monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add this card from your hand, to your hand, which is great. Obviously, we're going to be able to use it again in that case. Cool looking card as well, this one. Really, really pretty. That's the Prismatic Secret Rare from Mega Pack 22. Okay, so the first of the newer cards. So this is Vengeful Witch. I've gone for straight in at 3. If I'm perfectly honest, I'm not its biggest fan in terms of the artwork. I mean, it's certainly not a horrible card. It's just, it's not quite there for me. I think it could have been nicer that. But obviously they did use it in the anime, didn't they? So it had to be the same. So if you control Black Rose Dragon or a monster that mentions it, or a plant synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, a synchro material if this card is sent to the graveyard and a synchro monster on the field, you can discard one card and special summon one plant monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except for the rest of the turn, except synchro monsters, which shouldn't be too much of a problem with this particular deck. That's Vengeful Witch. Next, for a few support, the last of the sort of Rose monsters, I should say, is Rose Princess. These are the 3-ofs, of course. So one of the non-tuners, this one, but if only your opponent controls monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then if summoned this way, treat this card as a tuner. That's not an option, that is definitely treat as a tuner. You can only special summon Rose Princess once per turn this way, and then you can discard this card and add one white Rose Cloister from deck to hand. So obviously we can search for one of the field spells that we're running. But yeah, very, very appropriate. And the last 3-of is, of course, Lone Fire Blossom. Not an unusual card in any plant deck, of course. There's loads of targets for this, and absolutely no reason why you wouldn't play Lone Fire at 3 at this point. Now it's become more of a plant deck than it is a dragon deck, really. Another 2-of is, again, another new one. So this is Twilight Rose Black Knight. Obviously the replacement of the older card. So when you control a synchro monster, plant monsters you control gain 1000 attack. You can only use each effect of Twilight Rose Black Knight once per turn. If this card is normal and special summoned, you can special summon one Black Rose Dragon or one level 4 or lower plant monster from your graveyard, but negate its effects. You can target one other plant monster you control, increase or decrease its level by 1. Really, really handy card. Super artwork again. Really like the new stuff. I think it's really, really strong for the archetype. And I think because it's a bit more of a late game card, we've run that at 2. Last of the 2-ofs, we've got 2 Ruddy Rose Witch. Obviously very fitting in the deck. Another tuner monster. You contribute this card, add 1 Witch of the Black Rose, which we may as well reveal now. 1 Witch of the Black Rose. From deck to your hand, and if you do, you can take 1 level 3 or lower plant monster from your deck and place it on top of your deck. Then immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon 1 Witch of the Black Rose from your hand, and then you can banish this card from the graveyard, return 1 of your Black Rose Dragon or Ruddy Rose Dragon that is banished or in your graveyard to the extra deck. It's a bit of recursion for the main boss monsters. And then Witch of the Black Rose, of course, will be normal summoned anyway off the effect of Rose Witch. And if you do, you can draw a card, show it to your opponent, and if it's a monster, if it's not a monster, sorry, send it to the graveyard and destroy this card. But we are running a heavy monster lineup on this. It's 26 monsters on a 42 card deck. So it is a bit on the heavy side in terms of monsters, but that's what the idea is, to get these monsters on the field as soon as possible to go up to the bigger boss monsters. Now, in terms of 1-ofs, there's just 3. So I've got 1 Rose Girl, 1 Glow Up Bulb, and 1 Mardell. Hence the play mat today. I just thought she's dead appropriate. I actually run this in 3 decks now. So I run it in Generators, of course, it's home deck. But I also run it in my Arrow Mage deck. Just because that's a plant deck as well. It probably would be okay in Naturias as well, actually, which reminds me I need to add a glow bulb into Naturias. That'll work pretty well. But Mardell, obviously just a bit of a lone fire target, and obviously just gets you another, once you, excuse me, yeah, normal special, you can add a generator or plant monster from deck to hand. So add a plant monster from deck to hand, nice and easy. Glow bulb, we know. Rose Girl, if a face-up plant monster you control is sent to the graveyard, except during the damage stat, you special summon this card from your hand. And if a plant monster on the field and this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. So you only need the one, because obviously it's going to keep coming back anyway. So no issues there. So that's all 26 monsters, guys. We're going to run straight into the spells. And of course, there's the new one. So we've got Black Rose Garden, a continuous spell. Super artwork once again. This is the ultra rare. Obviously there's only one printing at the minute because it only came out in Dude. But yeah, really nice looking card. And so when this card is activated, you can add one Rose Dragon monster from deck or graveyard to your hand. All face-up monsters on the field become plant monsters, which is really nice. If this card is destroyed, inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each plant monster in your graveyard and banishment. Then if this card is destroyed by the effect of Black Rose Dragon, inflict 2,400 points worth of damage to your opponent. And then you can only use this effect of Black Rose once per turn, and you can only activate one Black Rose Garden once per turn. So yeah, nice and easy 3 off there, I think. The only other 3 off spell wise is this guy. I'm still running this at 3. I think if I was to try and beef the deck up by adding hand traps, this would probably reduce to 2. There's a couple of cards I would take out if you wanted to sort of add an Infinite Permanence or an Ash Blossom or something like that. You know, I'm sure it would be very appropriate. But special summon 1 Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. If this set card is destroyed, you can target one of your Black Rose Dragons or one of monster that lists it in its text that is banished or in your graveyard and special summon it. So you know, certainly late game it's good news. But I suppose that's why you could go for 2. If I wanted to create a little bit of room, I probably would go to 2. But for now, it's okay at 3. Right, should we go with these? So these are the field spells of choice then. So we have got 2 White Rose Cloister, 2 Black Garden, and 1 Terraforming to get them. So obviously there's lots of cards that will search these anyway, so you don't need to worry too much about adding the terraforming. I'm just thinking, you know, to thin, because we are running a 43 card list this one, so you know there are cards you could definitely drop, and you know if you wanted to go for 40 and create a little bit more of consistency, but you could do. So you know you could quite easily drop the terraforming. Maybe you could drop what's about to do? Oh yeah, Basil Rose Shoot. There's 1 or 2 others you could probably drop, but you know, it depends what you want to play at the end of the day, doesn't it? But Black Garden. So if a monster is normal special summon face up, except during by the effect of Black Garden, half its attack, then the controller of that monster special summons 1 Rose token to their opponent's field in attack position. You can target 1 monster in your graveyard with attack equal to the total attack of all plant monsters on the field. Destroy this card and as many plant monsters on the field as possible. Then if you destroyed all of them, special summon the targeted monster. And obviously with Black Rose Garden changing everything into plant monsters anyway, that might be quite devastating, of course. White Rose Cloister. So if you control no monsters, you can special summon 1 Rose Dragon monster or 1 plant monster from your hand. You can only use the effects of White Rose Cloister once per turn. And then during your draw phase, before you draw, you can declare 1 card type, monster, spell or trap, reveal the top card of your deck. And if it is the declared type, apply this effect to the rest of the turn, even this card leaves the field. Level 7 or higher, synchro monsters you control gain 1,000 attack. So you're probably always going to go for monster, because like I say, it's more common that we've got a monster on there. but it just gives you a little boost, knowing that you might go for a level 7 or higher synchro monster. But yeah, nice and easy. Those are the sort of field spells. And then the few one-offs. So we've got one, that squeeze on, yeah, just about. One Frozen Rose, one Call by the Grave, one Mark of the Rose, and one Ready Fusion. Now, Mark of the Rose obviously is an older card, but I really wanted to play it because it obviously is fitting in the deck. And again, it's something you could probably drop if you really wanted to make it more competitive, or indeed a 40 card list. Call by the Grave is Call by the Grave. Frozen Rose, you can send one face-up monster you control to the graveyard, apply this effect, depending on the type it had on the field. So if it's a plant, so you can during the end phase of this turn, you can draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. And if it's a non-plant, which is unlikely, add 1 level 4 or lower plant monster from your deck to your hand. So really just going for the draw 2 and drop 1. And then Ready Fusion, of course, there is a target for that in the extra deck, which we'll get to very shortly. Last of the main deck cards, I'm also running the 2 Blooming of the Dark Rose. This is the token generator, pure and simple, but it can generate multiple tokens, of course, which makes potential synchro summoning a little bit easier. So that's why we're going for those. Plus, the artwork's absolutely incredible. I really, really like the artwork on this trap. So yeah, really nice. Okay, extra deck wise, I'm not going to spend too long on this. Most of you will have seen most of this extra deck before in other decks. However, we'll go run through the newer cards, of course. We'll start with the synchro monsters because there's not much of the others. But we've got all the rose lineup we've got. So, of course, we've got one Ruddy Rose Dragon, which you'll have seen before. I have, of course, got the 2 Black Rose Dragon. Now, I did mention in the video I'm going to go for this artwork, and sure enough, I have. It's the quarter century rare alternate art of Black Rose Dragon. I think it's absolutely beautiful, this. I used this artwork on the thumbnail for my previous video, but obviously I'll pick a different one for this one. But 2 Black Rose Dragon. I've gone for the new Bramble Rose Dragon, which again is equally as beautiful. Straight out of Dude. But yeah, so each time your opponent activates a monster effect, inflict 600 damage to your opponent. And if you do, all monsters your opponent currently controls lose 600 attack. You can only use each effect of the following effects of Bramble Rose Dragon once per turn. During the main phase, quick effect. I'm reading this right, aren't I? Yeah. You contribute this card, special summon 1 Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck. This is treated as synchro summon, which is really important because obviously that could trigger Black Rose Dragon's nuke effect. And then you can banish this card from the graveyard, special summon 1 level 4 or lower plant tuner from your graveyard. Really, really nice card for the deck, and pretty much certain at the 2 of. And just to complete the sort of the dragon, well, the actual Rose Dragons, shall I say, lineup, we have, of course, got the 1 Black Rose Moonlight Dragon as well, just to add to the list. Just get rid of those for a moment. Okay, to finish off the synchro lineup, the last of the newer ones is Rage Rose Witch, which again, phenomenal artwork. Artwork appreciation time is off the scale. So plant monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. If you can use each of the following effects of Rage Rose Witch once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, you can add up to one plant monster each from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard. Sorry, you can send up to 1 plant monster. Yeah, that makes more sense. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except synchro monsters. And if this card is on the field, destroyed by card effect while this card was in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. Again, a really, really cool card, really nice effect. And again, I've gone for 2 of those. The others then, I've got for 1 Circle of Fairies, which I used before in Aramage deck. I've got 1 Splendid Rose. This is actually in the old Ultimate Rare. I've actually got 2 of these, believe it or not. But yeah, Splendid Rose, obviously just fitting with the deck. I've gone 1 Queen of Thorns, pretty old card, that one now, but still pretty potent in my opinion. Just budge these up a little bit so they're a bit more central. I've gone for one Garden Rose Maiden as well, and one Garden Rose Flora. So just to really cover all the bases, make sure you've got at least one of everything. And like I say, I just like to sort of mix it up a little bit when it comes to the extra deck summoning, just to I like to make sure I'm running and trying to summon as many of the monsters as I can. I can't get my words out today. Last two cards in the extra deck are indeed Crossroads Dragon, which obviously you just need to be careful when you're going to do it, because it will lock you into synchro monsters a lot of the time. And the one Rose Spectre of Dun, which I really wanted to run as well, just as a little bit of a option really with Ready Fusion, because this and a Glow Up Bulb, or indeed a Ruddy Rose Witch, will get you straight into a Black Rose Dragon anyway. So yeah, that was the idea. That's the end of the deck profile, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. I've rambled on once again. I keep slurring my words at the moment. I think I'm just a little bit under the weather, but thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it's a bit of a longer video, but it's the first time I've profiled it. What I'll also do is put the Genesis rating up there. I'm just going to make sure that it fits under the 100 bracket. I can't see any reason why this wouldn't, to be honest, but we'll try and get used to doing that. Any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comment section. Obviously, we love you to do so. I really, really like the comments. I will make sure I'll respond to all of them, and we'll see you for the next profile. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.